I think we've been evolving our point of view on Ether. When we started our analysis, we were pretty much, and this was with Chris, Bitcoin was what we needed to understand first, but we were keeping our eye on all of the other assets, and we stuck pretty closely to the thesis, the FAT protocol thesis that Chris's partner Joel Monegro came up with at Union Square Ventures, which says that the value accrual will take place more at the currency level. And we believe there would be only a few currencies in the world, much like there are today. We thought Bitcoin would be the reserve currency, and we were looking for the other currencies. And Ether was showing up as a very strong second. And I have been surprised at how Ether and the Ethereum network is mushrooming with stable coins, NFTs, decentralized finance. It's clearly satisfying a huge unmet need. One of those needs is yield out there. And we see that in the fixed income markets. The ridiculous rallies that have taken place, taking junk bond yields down to just a couple of hundred basis points above Treasuries. That's kind of nuts. So this hunger for yield is being satisfied by a much more efficient financial ecosystem. And I think many more people are more open-minded to it as well. Let's see, one of the things that has struck me from the beginning, and when Chris started at ARC, which was very close to the beginning of the firm, I remember saying very early on, follow the developers. Well, using that metric, Ethereum is off the charts, whereas Bitcoin is steady as she goes, still increasing, steady as she goes, but clearly Ethereum, decentralized finance, NFTs, have hit a responsive chord. I think bringing the creator community into this ecosystem is, helping it go a little bit viral more quickly than we would have expected. Chris will always be an important part of the ARC team, and his DNA is in ARC. I want to reflect on a meetup that you organized, Chris. Remember, we brought the Bitcoin and the Ether developers together, investors and developers, in our first office, one of those startup offices. And Chris was preparing. He was thinking about how to manage the discussion so that there would not be a war. and what I remember at the time, as I was sitting there and I was listening to these developers.
This was late 16, early 17, just to place people. So Ethereum was in decline. It was at $6 or $7.
$7. It was $7.
Yeah. We'd come off the middle of 16 kind of frenzy around the Dow, sold off from 25 to 7. Bitcoin was kind of pushing up, and we tried to the focus was to bring Ethereum and Bitcoin together. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So, and what I came away with, I said, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is so interesting, listening to the developers, but also understanding there would be a place for both. This was not an either or. That was a bit of an aha moment. The DAO, Chris came in and presented the DAO at a brainstorm, and I was fascinated. I was saying, wow, that's pretty wild. But then there were others on the team who were just pushing back and saying, this is going to blow up, and felt which it did. Felt vindicated when it blew up. But my experience in innovation is when you're onto something early, there are bound to be problems. And when it blows up is when you invest. That's when you really think about the investing. And I'll say, just in terms of Ether and the NFTs and the creator community, I was listening to one of Placeholder's calls, and they featured the CEO of Async Art. And I had never heard async art. I had never heard about this phenomenon at all. He starts speaking, and I'm on a walk, and I am smiling from ear to ear. I have not smiled that wide a smile since I first heard of the internet, just to give you a sense.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's the impact that NFTs had on you, this idea of async art and what they're building on NFTs.
Yes. I was saying, oh my gosh, the layering, that sort of get the creators involved with this. This could go nuts.
And so, why? What did you see? What was comparable to the early internet, Cathie?
Just the awe of how new and differentiated, how a different way of thinking, a way to reward creators, which we've been looking for generations or forever, right? And this idea that you could have, a piece of art and then layer it and sell pieces of it off and have the underlying creator still get rewarded for, thinking up such an interesting idea. I just thought, wow, this is so collaborative. It is so collaborative. And that's where the world's going. That's how ARC is set up too, as being very collaborative and iterative in our thinking. And so that's what I felt when I heard the CEO of Async Art talk. Maybe a fine point on this: $2 trillion. So nearly 10% of the US economy, or 2% of the global economy already. Remember the Asia example I gave, where only 5%, 4%, but growing enormously. So in many ways, crypto has arrived and is not going to go away. I completely agree with Chris. I think going through the big volatility bouts as we were just getting institutional interest, May, I think there was a little bit of a pullback, but, I think, and you could see this with Ether, especially, it didn't skip a beat. It didn't skip a beat. It worked brilliantly. Whereas most in the financial world are just saying this, just because they don't understand exactly how it's set up. They're just saying this is leverage upon leverage. This is upon leverage. This thing's going to come crumbling down. So the more times we go through volatility and the network comes out stronger for it, the more credibility it will have and the more confidence investors will have in it. And then the other thing, and we did the B word, you might have heard about, and a large part of that was, okay, how do we support this ecosystem so it does become stronger? And with Bitcoin, that would be supporting developers. It seems like there's no problem with developers because of the economic model on the Ethereum network. So supporting, but also I think you've got, just listening to Chris and Yassine, and I don't know you so well, but it's clear you know in great depth what is right and what might be wrong. Just going out there, fine minds surfacing and exposing bad behavior, and coming down on it. Certainly from the the new governance platforms that are evolving.
We hope that you have enjoyed this insightful video report. Please give it a like and do share it with your friends. To explore further on profitable Bitcoin analysis, please check out our live Bitcoin seminars and webinar events. The link access to the event platforms are listed in the description of this video below.